Greetings folk, so I'm back again with some more reading of Rest is Resistance, and before we do, let's take a moment to pause, relax and open. And before I continue, I just want to say that this is a little bit funny for me to be doing this today, because quietly in the background, just sat on the side, I have Denise, our lovely new intern, who's quietly eating a banana and giggling. So we left off on this sentence. We have done this because since birth we slowly are indoctrinated into the cult of urgency and disconnection via white supremacy. So continuing on. All of culture is working in collaboration for us not to rest. And when we do listen to our bodies and take rest, many feel extreme guilt and shame. Embrace knowing that you have been manipulated and scammed by a violent system as powerful evidence. Now with this knowledge, you can grieve, repair, rest and heal. We can rejoice for the beauty of a veil being removed. This is the beginning of the new world we can create. So stay here and rest, even for a few minutes each day before leaping into the comfort of intellectualizing this rest work. Resting is an embodied practice and a lifelong unraveling. It is not something that can be trendy, quick, or shallow. Resting is ancient, slow, and connected work that will take hold of you in ways that may be surprising. Let deprogramming from grind culture surprise you. Let your entire being slowly begin to shift. Get lost in rest. Pull up the blankets, search for softness, and be open to the ways rest will surprise and calm you. I could tell 10,000 stories about moments when I have been filled with exhaustion. So many moments of watching my parents exhausted, my grandparents exhausted. 10,000 stories and examples of moments where my body was pushed to the brink of true damage and true disconnection. I could share with you these tender, quiet moments of me unaware if I could go on, because my body and mind were so weary, tired, and pushed to the brink of pure exhaustion. I feel like a legacy of exhaustion resides somewhere in all of us, but specifically resides in the bodies of those who have melanated skin. To those who are descendants of plantation labour and those marginalised, this exhaustion is deep. Sleep deprivation is a public health issue and a spiritual issue. It is a spiritual issue for a few reasons. We have been trained to believe that everything we accomplish is because of our own pushing alone. This is false, because there is a spiritual dimension that exists in all things and in everything we do. To understand that we are spiritual beings navigating life in a material world opens us to the possibilities of rest as a spiritual practice. Our entire living is a spiritual practice. Much of our resistance to rest, sleep, and slowing down is an ego problem. You believe you can and must do it all because of our obsession with individualism and our disconnection to spirituality. Nothing we accomplish in life is totally free of the influence of spirit and community. We do nothing alone. I am clearly stating that to centre rest, naps, sleep, slowing down, and leisure in a capitalist, white supremacist, ableist, patriarchal world is to live as an outlier. A pilgrimage infused with softness, intentionality, and community care. We will not be able to interrupt the machine of grind culture alone. We need each other in more ways than we are allowed to believe. This work is about radical community care. Tenet 2. Our bodies are a site of liberation. For us to be more human, returning to our natural state before the lies, terror and trauma of this system. To be who we were before the terror of white supremacy, capitalism and patriarchy is the power of resting. To no longer be ravaged by this culture's incessant need to keep going no matter what to produce at all costs. This is why we rest. Grieving the reality of being manipulated to believe we are not enough, divine or valuable outside of our accomplishments and bank account is a central part of our rest work. It is sad and disturbing. I only started to confront and acknowledge the grief present in me and so many others in 2015, when the foundation for the Nat ministry really began to take shape. I understand that many reading this book have never sat with the grief and pain associated with attaching your worth to productivity and money. This fact alone is enough reason to rest. But you cannot simply just tell someone who has been traumatized by capitalism since birth to consistently lay down and rest without addressing the reality of our brainwashing. When we finally wake up to the truth of what a machine-level pace of labour has done to our physical bodies, our self-esteem and our spirits, the unravelling begins. As I have counselled people who have an extreme desire to slow down and rest, I have witnessed the subtle and bold ways grind culture has swallowed us whole. Being a parent has opened my eyes up to the ways grind culture successfully begins its socialisation of fear and urgency. Even before my son was born, the medical industry was rushing him out of my womb. During my pregnancy, the doctor was obsessed with how large my son might possibly be. In my 8th month, their concern sent me to a specialist to receive an intensive ultrasound to rule out twins. I already knew I wasn't having twins and correctly predicted his gender. I knew he might be a larger baby because I am 6 feet tall and my entire family, including both parents, were over 6 feet tall. All the women in my family had larger babies. I shared this history with my doctor, but like many in the medical system, she didn't listen. On my last appointment, 4 days before his due date, she signalled that I would have to have a C-section because she was unsure I could deliver such a large baby. She also shared that the last larger baby she delivered had complications that she is now fighting in court because a lawsuit was filed. In her words, "Let's just get him out now." I was mortified and pleaded with her to let me try and labour. I told her that he would not be 9 or 10 pounds like the scans showed. I responded with a deep confidence. "He will be 8 pounds. I know this in my spirit." In a rushed and urgent tone, she said no, and I would be delivering that evening via C-section. I was crushed and went home crying as I prepared to make my way to the hospital to give birth. Once there, I had a successful C-section, and when they put him on the scale, he weighed 8 pounds and 0 ounces. Exactly as I had predicted. The doctor was shocked and kept repeating, "You knew!" What struck me about this experience is the deep ways in which capitalism was given full power to control and drive my son's entrance into the world. Grind culture has taken over every facet of our lives. The real fear of what could happen if we step into the unknown is crafted by capitalism and its cult of busyness and productivity. We are wrapped up in a web that feels inescapable and hopeless. Will you trust me and trust your divinity enough to believe it is indeed not hopeless? Can you trust, even for a second, that we can reside in a rested future? I ask for us to walk this road slowly together, lay down together, and collectively care for each other in a way that makes rest possible. Sending many blessings to all.